All right, awesome. So just to give everybody an overview of what we're going to be doing today, we do have 3 parts in our presentation. So as you can see, they're listed here. Each one is going to be divided into on-campus and off-campus options, just so you have a better understanding of what you can do while you're on campus and while you're at your house or your apartment. And also, just as a disclaimer, Sonia and I put this presentation together from our own recommendations. We're not in any way imposing our recommendations on you, but we do hope that you take them into consideration at your time here at Davis.
Oh, I'm doing the mouse. Okay, sorry.
All right, so I'm gonna start off with our first part called Eating Healthy on a Budget. So since as college students, we do not have enough time to be thinking about what should we eat and how much should we eat, My Plate is a good rule of thumb to go by. My Plate is basically a food guide that is published by the USDA. It illustrates 5 food groups that are the building blocks for a healthy diet. It encourages you to think what goes in your plate, your cup, and your bowl before you eat. What it says is that you should ideally fill half of your plate with fruits and vegetables, half of your grains should be whole grains, have a variety of protein in your diet, and move to low-fat or fat-free dairy if dairy agrees with your body. So the rest of the part of eating healthy on a budget, we will try to be sticking to My Plate when guiding y'all.
All right, so the first part that we're going to talk about is on-campus options. I'm sure a lot of people know about the more common ones, so the dining commons, the Memorial Union, the silo, the food trucks. All those have good options. Some of the more lesser known options that I would say that we have on our campus for students, one of them is the food pantry. So the food pantry is something, it is located actually in Freeborn Hall, so Freeborn 21 in the basement. Their phone number is displayed online, but basically what they do is that they can provide meals for students, up to 3 meals or personal items per day. And that is all with your student ID card. So you just have to show that, and then you can get meals or some kind of food items at the food pantry. They are open Mondays to Friday from 10 a.m. to 1, and then Monday and Tuesday also from 4 to 6. Something that they also offer is 3 scholarships. So those are grocery scholarships, and that would be about $250 for the quarter. So you can apply on their website. You just look up foodpantry.ucdavis.edu. You can apply for those scholarships that they offer. Another one that we do have is Fruit and Veggie Up. So they provide fresh fruit and vegetables for all of our students. It is on a first come, first served basis. So you would have to get there first to get, the top picks in the fruits and veggies. They do distribute their produce at 3 locations. So the first one is the Health and Wellness Center, which is on Russell. And then they also distribute it at the Pantry, which is, again, in Freeborn Hall. And then they also distribute in the MU, which is one of their newer locations. And if you are interested in getting updates from them, like when their distributions are happening, you can go ahead and text Aggie to the number shown on screen.
Okay, so I'm going to discuss some food ideas. If you are eating on campus, always check ingredients in packaged food. For example, if you're eating at the coffee house or South Coho at SCC, they do have these pre-packaged food items. So make sure you check the labels. It is a great way to make sure you know what you are putting in your body. Try switching to healthier options. For example, if you're eating at the DC, we have the privilege of having a variety of salad ingredients to make our own salads. But having said that, eating healthy does not always mean you restrict yourselves from eating other food items and only eat salad all day long. It's about striking a balance and ensuring you get all the macronutrients in a meal.
And then for some off-campus options, I know a lot of us go to the grocery store and the farmer's market. Some of us also go there too. So some ways that you can save when you're shopping either at the grocery store is trying to shop in seasons. I did put a list of the fruits and vegetables and herbs that are in season for the winter. So basically when you shop in season, it's just showing that like these specific fruits and veggies may be a lot cheaper than they are in other seasons. So in the farmer's market, for example, persimmons are in season So if you go there, they might actually be cheaper per pound at the farmer's market than, let's say, like Safeway or something. So you can try looking into that to buy produce that is a lot cheaper. We also have, I know everybody gets like flyers in their mail for different kinds of grocery stores. Those are really good to look at just because you can see which grocery stores are having sales and what kinds of products. And that just helps you figure out where you need to go to buy cheaper fruits and vegetables if you do want that. Another thing that I like mentioning is shopping with the store brands. So a lot of the times we have like so many different brands in like the bread aisle, for example. And sometimes they do have very similar ingredients. So if you shop by the store brand, so like the Safeway brand, the Target brand, those do tend to be a bit cheaper than popular brands. So that's another way of going about it. Some other off-campus options, if you don't want to do grocery stores, we do have something called Davis Community Meals. This is basically a hot meal distribution. I added a picture there of things that they distribute. So it looks like they're giving out like steamed veggies, salad. So going back to my plate, that is kind of like filling the fruits and veggie portion of that. There is no requirement to go for one of the meals. So you can just stop by at any of their open times. They are open from Tuesdays to Thursdays from 5:45 to 6:30, and then Saturdays from 1:30 to 12:15 p.m. So that's just like if you don't really want to cook and you just want to stop by, grab a hot meal, that is always available for Davis community members, including students. And then we also have YOLO Food Bank, and this is basically just like a food bank that you can get canned goods and sometimes produce. The only requirement here is that you bring your own grocery bag. So you bring your bag and then you just fill it with whatever you can, and then you have your groceries that way. So some options that you can consider.
So I have a question.
Of course.
Is it good just to Google those titles to find out locations and all of that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the Googling would definitely be a good way. I found a lot of the information for this presentation just by Googling. So Davis Community Meals, YOLO Food Bank, and then you can find the hours and the requirements for each online.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so if you are someone who likes to cook regularly, Karina and I are gonna provide you with one food idea for vegetarian meal and one food idea for meat-based meal. For vegetarian food option, I came up with a basic under $10 stir-fry recipe, keeping my plate and budget constraint in mind. As you can see on your screen, there are some prices provided for the ingredients that I typically use, but you can feel free to use any vegetables or protein sources that you like. And I found these prices on Walmart's website because I think it's one of the relatively cheaper grocery option. So going forward with the recipe, all you have to do is saute sliced onions, all colors of bell peppers, and tofu in olive oil. I usually like to use all colors of bell pepper because it looks aesthetically pleasing as well as it's nutritionally good to have more colors in your food as well. To add flavor to it, it is a good idea to invest in an all-purpose seasoning and add it as per your taste. As you can see, seasoning bottles are pretty low priced. So if you invest in like a couple of different types of seasoning, you can switch it up all the time. And even though it says $3 right now on the screen, you're not going to just use all of the seasoning in one go. It's going to last you for a really long time. So it's a really good idea to invest in seasoning. If you are someone who likes a little spice in your food, you can add hot sauce to this recipe too. Serve the vegetable stir fry on a bed of quinoa or any whole grain of your choice. For dessert, indulge in fruits mixed with low-fat yogurt. Quick tip here is if you place your fruit and yogurt bowl in the freezer for a little bit, it tastes divine. Hence, this is a good way to pack your meal with all the requirements on my plate on a budget.
All right, so for the meat-based option, what I basically did is just kind of compare the prices as well from Walmart. So something that I usually like doing is buying chicken breast or chicken thigh in family bulk. So the pack that you see on screen is $7.48, and that comes with, I believe, 6 chicken breasts or chicken thighs. And that way you can use them like in different kinds of marinades. So the picture over kind of like shows some examples like chipotle, honey mustard, different kinds of marinades for the different chicken breasts. So you would marinate each chicken breast or chicken thighs in a different way, and then that would have like different varieties in your meat portions. Something that you can do is actually put the chicken that you're not using in a freezer safe bag, and then you can freeze it for up to 9 months. So then when you're ready to enjoy your meal for chicken, you would just thaw and enjoy your meal. One of my favorite marinades is something that my mom actually taught me. So it's something similar to the chipotle marinade. So you basically blend chipotle, peppers, onion, tomato, vinegar, salt, and pepper, and you just dip your chicken in there and then freeze that if you want to enjoy it for later. And kind of putting my plate back into this, so the chicken would be your protein. For fruits and veggies, kind of looking over at Sonia's, we also have onion and bell peppers is a really good way to incorporate vegetables in this. Something that I really like is baby carrots. I know that you can buy baby carrots in like a bag, but one thing that I did notice is that a pound of baby carrots is actually more than a pound of regular carrots. So if you look at the bottom, the baby carrots are slightly more expensive than a pound of regular carrots, and I feel like you get more out of your buck, you're more bang out of your buck if you buy the regular size bag and just cut the carrots into smaller portions if you want to carry them around with you like baby carrots. If you don't like crunchy carrots, because sometimes, I don't know, your teeth may be hurting, you can always do like carrot fries. So the idea that I put, there's like a picture on screen for carrot fries, but what I usually like doing is just cutting up the carrots, drizzling them with olive oil, and then doing the all-purpose seasoning like Sonia was mentioning. So you can use that, or you could just use like salt and pepper to season them, and then put them in the oven. It really just depends. So like 350 degrees Fahrenheit for like 30 minutes would be a good option, and then just take them out. And then you can also save those as just like snacks throughout the day. So getting those fruits and veggies in throughout the day is really important. And yeah, that's what I wanted to mention.
So we had a question from a member of the audience, and so of course we're not professionals here in terms of the nutritional industry. We're not doctors or anything, but in terms of hot sauce, what do you think about people assuming that hot sauce is a fat-free item, or what should you be considering when you're looking at hot sauce, adding hot sauce to your plate? Is it 0 calories? What do you think? What's your opinion?
I mean, I'm not sure if it has any calories, but if you don't like hot sauce, there's also just cayenne pepper or paprika that you can put if you're not comfortable using hot sauce.
I do think some hot sauces have calories, so I think like sriracha has some sweetener in it, just because it has that like slightly sweet tinge. So you can always look at the ingredients label. So I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. Looking at food labels is really important. And you can see like sugar content and different things like that. And that should tell you the total amount of calories that is in each one. But it really varies on the hot sauce that you're trying to have. But if you're using like cayenne pepper, then that would be like 0 calories basically.
Yeah, when in doubt, just switch to spices.
Yeah.
Great question.
All right, so our next section is going to be talking about being physically active on a time crunch. So I know college students, you have like no time to do anything basically, so we're just going to help you figure out some ways that you can incorporate your physical activity throughout the day. So here are some on-campus options that we have made a list of. You can see them all listed out on screen. But some things that we recommend are maybe going to the ARC. I know the Activity Recreation Center is really popular. I personally don't like working out. It is one of my least favorite things to do, and I know I'm a nutrition student. So what I like doing is doing the group exercise workouts that they have. So they have various kinds of like dance activities. So they have like Zumba, they have yoga, they have like cycling, circuit training. So that's all going to be included in the ARC classes. There is a fee for that. So they do have a week called Try Before You Buy for the very first week of classes. And you can go to any of the workshops that they have and see if you like going to workshops or if you would just rather go on like the elliptical or something at the ARC by yourself. But if you do like the classes, they would be $25 for the quarter if you wanted to partake in the classes. I personally really like the classes because I like working out with other people and I don't just like, it's not very motivating for me to go by myself. So the classes really help me. We also are very privileged to have an arboretum on our campus. The arboretum is about 3 miles all the way around. So if you want to take like a quick jog or like bike all the way around the arboretum, 3 miles would be like, I don't know how long of a bike ride that would be, but it's not very long. And then we also, for like the campus just in general, like biking and walking is just a really big part of our campus. We are the largest campus in terms of acreage, just so like our campus is really, really big. So maybe instead of like moving your car or taking the bus, you can always try riding your bike to campus or walking. So that's a really good way to get some exercise in. If you're a little bit like me and you lack some motivation when it comes to going to the gym, you can try taking it for units. So our PE classes are offered for 0.5 units. They are all pass, no pass, so it would not affect your GPA if you like got like a lower grade, just because you would just need to pass it. You would get the units towards your graduation, so that's always a plus. So it's just like a way that is motivating to you to actually get some exercise in if it's part of your schedule. And then we also have a lot of clubs that involve physical activity. So some examples are like the hiking club that we have on our campus. There's also various dance groups that they have that you can join if you're interested in dancing. So just kind of like looking through all the clubs on campus and figuring out which one has the best like physical activity for you.
Okay. If you do not have enough time on campus to spend doing physical activity, you can definitely do mini workouts at home. There are numerous phone apps and YouTube channels that provide a variety of workouts. So it's a great way to switch up your workouts too. And again, just like Karina said, if you don't like doing physical activities, make sure you do group activities. You can probably gather your friends or your roommates and do a group activity together, but at home. There are a lot of other options too, like going for hikes and runs. Even if you're not on campus, Davis is pretty throughout, whether you're on campus or off campus. You can just go out for a jog or a run. And we're also lucky to be surrounded by very scenic hikes around Davis. So everyone should definitely make use of these natural resources.
And the last topic that we're going to talk about today is on-campus and on-campus options for caring for your mental and emotional health. So listing some of our on-campus options, we do have the Student Health and Counseling Services, which has 2 locations. They have the Student Health and Wellness Center, as well as the Counseling Center in North Hall. And so the resources that they offer for students would mostly be like counseling services. So if you feel any kind of like stress or anxiety due to school, due to outside circumstances, you can always make an appointment through Health e-messaging. I took a screenshot of logging into my Health e-messaging. So it's asking you for your ID number, and that would all be through the website. So like the Student Health and Counseling Services website. There's like an option that you can click to make an appointment. Here at the Dean's office, we do have Annie Hahn, which is one of our counselors, and she usually deals with students who, again, are going through something in their life, and they just really need someone to talk to. So if you are part of the College of Ag, definitely use her as a resource. They also offer, just at the General Center, so like at North Hall and Counseling, they offer individual and group counseling. So if you have a preference, you can choose between that. They also have something that I found really helpful, which is the self-help library. So what that basically is a really extensive like website where they have a bunch of different options. So if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with eating disorders, maybe you need some help with test taking skills, time management, they have a bunch of different resources on their website that you can look through, and it's very extensive. So it's just like a really helpful way to kind of get started, maybe like figure out what you need help in, and then go in for an appointment after that. I also put a map on here, just in case you didn't know. The Student Health and Wellness Center is on LaRue, and then North Hall would be in the quad area in one of the original buildings, so one of the shingled buildings by the quad.
Okay. So I believe it is important to be self-motivated in order to take care of your mental and emotional health. Small steps towards being mentally and emotionally healthy make a big difference overall. If you are at home and you're tired of studying, make sure you take plenty of breaks to take care of yourself. One method that I like to follow is called the Pomodoro Technique. For those who don't know what that is, it's basically you select 4 tasks that you want to finish, and you do it in a time frame of 25 minutes each, and between each task you take a 5-minute break. So that's just to ensure that you are giving your brain a little break while studying, just so you don't tire yourself out completely. And then after you finish all 4 of those tasks in 25 minutes time frame with 5 minutes break in between each task, you get to take a long break of 25 minutes just to rejuvenate yourself. So you can set goals of how many ever tasks you want in the day with 4 in a group. So best way to focus on being healthy is taking part in daily meditation. If you do not know how to meditate, there are guided meditation videos that are out there on the internet that make your life very easy. It is also essential that we all find a hobby that we like and pursue it in our free time. Sometimes all it takes is reflecting on the good things you have in life to make you feel how worth it your life is. Some ways to reflect are filling out reflection journals or doing gratitude walks. Gratitude walks are basically when you take a walk outside in the fresh air and reflect on how grateful you are for everything that surrounds you in your life. Lastly, and most importantly, treat yourself because you deserve only the best. All right, so I'm going to quickly round up. Overall, we would like to conclude the webinar by saying that these are just our perspective of what wellness looks like for a college student. If you have any suggestions or questions on this topic, we would be happy to hear it in our Q&A session, which is coming up next. A healthy mind and body are essential for any kind of success. It is essential to take care of yourselves in order to succeed, and it is also essential that you support your peers in every way possible to ensure their wellness. Let's make wellness a topic that is discussed and acted upon more often.
Okay, so this is the opportunity for anybody watching to type in a question in the Q&A section. Again, that one works best for this webinar format to be able to have the Q&A option on there. I did have a question for you while we wait to see if any of our attendees have questions. So with the break coming up, we have a break coming up next week on the 23rd and 24th. What is something that you each are doing to support your wellness or healthiness in terms of rejuvenation? Because you talked about that a little bit.
I'm definitely gonna take a break and go away to San Francisco. Just take a break from Davis and just to recharge my mind, because this quarter has been really difficult in terms of midterms and assignments. So I feel like I need a break from Davis in particular. And I've seen that once I get out of Davis once in a while and come back, I just feel a lot more motivated to study.
Okay, thank
you, Sonia. I definitely agree with Sonia. Kind of just like going home and taking a break is a really good way to feel remotivated when you come back to Davis. I feel like something that I'll be doing is just like spending time with my family, because I know the Thanksgiving holiday is coming up. So if you do celebrate that, kind of spending time with family is something that I plan to be doing. Family and friends, they just kind of like really offer a distraction sort of thing. So if you're just like really, really focused on your midterms, like I know I have like a bunch of midterms coming up on Monday and Tuesday next week. So going home for the break will give me a good opportunity to just like relax my mind for a little bit on that topic and then come back to it when I feel ready.
Yeah, I have something to add on to that. So if you are an international student like me, and if you don't have a family over here to go to during Thanksgiving, you can definitely indulge in Friendsgiving. That's what I did last year. So I just had friends over, we cooked together, and we ate together, and it was fun.
Yeah. And I grew up in San Diego County, so I went to school in Northern California, and so international students and also students that live far away, we often had Friendsgiving as well. Being from Southern California, I didn't go home as often as some of my other friends too. Yeah. Do you want me to turn the camera on? You don't mind? Okay. So we do have a couple questions. I'm going to put the video back on so then you can see Karina and Sonia talking to you. So one of the questions from the audience is, what are your favorite healthy go-to snacks during the school day? like when you're putting it in your backpack, or maybe you have a long day, you know, off campus, on campus preparation, what's your go-to snacks?
I always have fruits in my bag. Usually it's a banana because I think that's my favorite fruit. I also do get baby carrots like Karina mentioned. I like making the carrot fries. I also try to make zucchini fries with it just to have more option. And just for a little pick-me-up, I always have like a granola bar. So yeah, that's usually what I go to.
I also really like carrots, just in general. Like the carrot fries are probably my favorite, but I also have made zucchini fries, sweet potato fries, in like the same method where you just put like olive oil and any kind of seasoning that you want. Other things that I usually like carrying is also celery. I think celery is one of my favorite vegetables. Like celery with a bit of peanut butter. So if you are a vegetarian, like peanut butter is a really good option for a source of protein. So that's another good way of going about it. So yeah, just like fruits or vegetables in general, like are my go-to.
So another question from the audience is, they said, thank you for your presentation. What is your favorite dish to make? They didn't say like time or money was an issue, but what's your go-to dish? Is there something big that you make to meal prep for the week, or anything like that that's your favorite?
I just try a bunch of stuff because I like cooking, so I don't mind spending my free time cooking. So yeah, I usually make a lot of things with chicken because that's my favorite meat. And if I'm doing vegetarian meal prep, then I just make a lot of different types of tofu stir fry. And I usually just change up different meats and make fajita with rice. That's one of my favorite things too.
I don't really like cooking. It's not my favorite pastime. So I do like meal prepping a lot. So basically what that is you have like maybe like on Saturday or Sunday night, you make all of your food for the week, so you don't have to, you know, keep going back and like it's super late, you want to do your homework and then you still have to cook. So that's what meal prepping basically means. So what I usually like doing is making like a really big pot of it's like in a wok, which is like this, like it's like a heated pan. It's like really big. And you just throw in a bunch of random things. So like I usually put in like noodles, vegetables. I don't really eat meat that much, so I put in like tofu. And then you season it with whatever you want. So my favorite kind of seasoning is like soy sauce because I like salty. So soy sauce would be one thing. I have tried like curries. So there's like pre-made curries that you can buy at the grocery store, which also add really, really good flavor. So that's just like really easy to make. And then just maybe like steaming some rice on the side is really fast. Steaming some quinoa, like Sonia had mentioned in her part of the food idea. So that would just be basically what I like making. It's easy and it's good.
So I have a question, since you mentioned quinoa. It wasn't until quite recently that I started experimenting a little bit more with different grains. I think sometimes when in college, when you get started in cooking, there's a little bit of a fear of like kind of venturing outside. Is there something that you ventured out into that, you know, it took me a while to get there, but this is what I tried? Anything that comes to mind?
Well, I grew up in a vegetarian household, so I've never cooked meat before coming here. So I tried cooking meat because I love eating chicken, like I said, but I used to only eat it outside, like in restaurants. But my roommate, she taught me how to make it, and her and I, we are always making chicken dishes. So that's something that I decided to do.
Yeah, previously to coming to university, like my mom would cook all of my food, so I think just like cooking in general was a really big step for me. I recently started getting like a slightly better this year, just because like for a lot of my internships as a nutrition major, I work in a kitchen, so like that really helps me learn how to make good foods and season them properly. Something that I like still have to experiment a little more with is making soups. I don't know why soups are very difficult for me, but that's something that I still have to work on personally, like making soups. But cooking in general was a big step for me.
I just remembered one thing that when we were talking about go-to snacks, somebody had asked about a go-to snack. And I appreciate that you mentioned the pantry that's available on campus. I was at the pantry once, and I noticed that it's also a great place for students to just stop by and pick up a granola bar. So if you forgot your granola bar or you want something really quick, you can stop by the pantry also and see if they have some go-to snacks there as well. I wanted to ask you also about some of the mental and emotional health needs. You know, as peer advisors on campus, you see a lot of first-year students, helping students right now with Pass 1 registration. What's your tip right now, given the time of quarter that we're in terms of taking care of yourself and that mental and emotional health component?
Yeah, I feel like just kind of like taking a break from everything is a really good way of going about it. I know yesterday, for example, I had so much going on. I had to like come to work, and then I had to study for my midterms for next week. But there was like an event going on that was put on by some of the ASUCD, I believe, and it was like a movie showing that they were doing in downtown. So I just gathered some of my friends, and we just went to the movie. Like, I know it was really late, and like it was, you know, I should have probably been studying, but it's just like really good to like take a break from studying, because it really like gets you more motivated to keep doing it afterwards. So I think just like stepping back from everything and just being like, I need a break, and accepting that you need a break is really important.
Yeah, I would say, like I mentioned, finding yourself a hobby is very important, because I feel like it's just one of those little things that keeps you motivated in life and gives you a purpose in life. So every time you're taking a break, you know what you're gonna do. You're not just gonna spend time whiling away and just sitting around. It's always good to be a little active. And for example, if you like painting, you can always paint in your free time. If you like reading, you can read in your free time. So yeah, it's up to you. Whatever you like doing, just make it a hobby out of it.
Sonia, can you tell us a little bit more about, go over the Pomodoro Technique again?
Okay, sure. I would like to mention there are also phone apps that help you follow the Pomodoro Technique. So if you find it difficult to calculate times and stuff, I usually just follow this app that I have on my phone. And what it does is it makes you select 4 tasks. So for example, I was studying for my midterm this Sunday, and I had 4 chapters to just revise, just review, not like sit and study for the first time. So I selected those 4 chapters, and I decided to provide 25 minutes to each chapter for revision. After the first chapter, I had a 5-minute break. So after the first 25 minutes, I took a 5-minute break. I just stretched a little, went and got a snack, and then I sat back and provided 25 more minutes to the second chapter. And then the cycle repeated. So 5 minutes break, then 25 minutes studying, 5 minutes break, and then 25 minutes studying. So that's 4 tasks. So after you're done with your 4 tasks, the app will make you take a 25-minute long break where you can do whatever you want. And then it'll also give you a timer that it's time for you to get back to your 5th task. And then again, in the set of 4, you do 4 more tasks. So you can do up to 12 tasks in a day if you go on with this cycle. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
Okay.
It does. How did you find it?
I actually found it on YouTube. I just follow a lot of YouTube channels for, you know, emotional and mental health and stuff, because there are a lot of YouTubers out there that talk a lot about these kind of topics, and they provide you tips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything that you thought of after you finished your presentation? You know, you did a great PowerPoint and all that, that you were like, oh, I wish we could have talked about this, but it just didn't fit into our flow. Was there anything, or you feel like you covered it all?
I think we added like a good amount.
Yeah.
You want to add something too? No, I think I'm good too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then my last question for you is, just for the audience, I want them to know that I approached you as peer advisors and just said, tell us some tips. So why was this topic most important for you?
Our major.
Yeah, our major.
Yeah. When we were told about this, we just looked at each other.
Yeah, we need to do this
doing
together.
this. Yeah.
I feel like being a nutrition student here, kind of like taking classes and like everything that you learn in your class really like motivates you to want to motivate others to be healthy too.
It's very exciting. I just want to tell everyone about everything.
Yeah, nutrition is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just go home every day after class, and I'm always excited to tell my roommates what I learned today. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, it looks like we've wrapped up on questions. And I just want to thank Karina and Sonia again for being the first peer advisors to do it. I put the challenge out there to our major department advisors and our other dean's office peer advisors. So thank you again. And for those of you that watched today, I'll send out a little 3-question survey. It's really no big deal. It's really 2 questions and 1, please suggest future topics. So keep an eye out in your email box for that. So thank you, everybody. And so you're going to see your screen go blank, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I got to end the meeting.